Adam Schiff opened a door that he can't close.
Now there's an Inspector General report that comes out that says during the last impeachment hoax, Adam Schiff repeatedly made false statements to the American people about the FBI's actions.
In the past few months, Schiff's been getting exposed left, right, and center. But the latest declassification is showing the role he played in pushing Russiagate. As expected, the MSM is busy portraying him as the victim.
You know, during Trump's first term in office, we talked about not wanting to become a banana republic, because in banana republics, criminal prosecution becomes a tool can use to intimidate his enemies.
And today, we're covering it all. By the way, we just launched this channel, and we'll focus solely on debates. So if you believe truth isn't partisan, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right into it.
Here's the conversation on Sunday Morning Futures back from 2019. Watch this.
The Democrats have made the mistake of staking the credibility of all this on Adam Schiff, the person that they put in charge of this investigation. Turns out is the one that helped start it by meeting with a person who walked out of Adam Schiff's office and became the whistleblower. And at the very same time that that's happening, as you mentioned, now there's an Inspector General report that comes out that says during the last impeachment hoax, the Trump-Russia one, Adam Schiff repeatedly made false statements to the American people about the FBI's actions.
You know, Adam Schiff was certainly out and about a lot throughout the last 3 years saying that there is collusion in plain sight. And now we get the IG report and we actually see the misconduct and what they call errors, fraud, whatever you want to call it. What is your reaction to what you learned from Michael Horowitz?
It wasn't just that Adam Schiff was out and about. He put out a report that said there was no FISA abuse by the FBI. That was false. He said that the FBI didn't fail to turn over exculpatory information. That was false. He said that the Steele dossier was not a central part of the FISA applications against Carter Page. That was false.
For context, the declassified FBI 302, which is based on whistleblower claims, paints a pretty damning picture. It comes from a Democratic staffer who worked in the House Intelligence Committee for 12 years after more than 2 decades in the intelligence community, who alleged Adam Schiff had approved leaking classified information to smear Trump over Russiagate. In addition to claiming Democrats on the Intelligence Committee had established a system for leaking in which sensitive information would be given to Schiff. Then, after which a decision was made as to who would leak the information. Eric Stilwell was reportedly part of that circle as well. In one instance, the whistleblower recounted how a particularly sensitive document was seen by a small group of lawmakers and staff, but leaked out almost verbatim within a day. If these claims are true, it changes everything, but it doesn't stop there. But we'll let Maria explain the rest.
The whistleblower claims this all started because Adam Schiff assumed he was going to be the director of the CIA in a Hillary Clinton administration. Of course, President Trump won, and those dreams were dashed. But how could Adam Schiff deny this when we have it on tape? He being, at the time, either the chairman of the intelligence community or later the ranking member of the intelligence committee in the House. He's over there on Chuck Todd and all these other Sunday shows saying that collusion between Trump and Russia is in plain sight. How do you deny that after you said that with the role as chairman of Intelligence Committee?
Well, first of all, I think that I'm so happy this is finally coming out and we actually have proof. And the number one thing that I think is different this time is the fact that the 302 report is now unclassified. And so Congress does have the information and the proof to back it up.
Schiff really thought that he'd be running the CIA if Hillary won in 2016. After this 302 was declassified, Schiff issued a statement saying Kash Patel's latest smear against Senator Schiff is absolutely and categorically false, adding these baseless smears are based on allegations from a disgruntled former staffer who was fired by the House Intelligence Committee for cause. But the whistleblower tells a different story. He claims that he was pushed out for a perceived lack of party loyalty, in addition to there being an expectation of leaking, and he refused to participate. And you know what's wild? MSNBC didn't even cover this specific development. Instead, they gathered a panel trying to spin the entire thing as some kind of Trump operation. So let's hear their takes on that.
We are in a perma-war standing with Trump. He must initiate crises. He must go on the attack against his perceived enemies. He must attempt to keep his coalition together in the face of disintegrating forces, the Epstein issue, and also the incursion of the midterms, which is going to essentially render him some kind of a lame duck president.
This is the complete weaponization of the Justice Department for political purposes. You know, during Trump's first term in office, we talked about not wanting to become a banana republic, because in banana republics, criminal prosecution becomes a tool that a powerful dictator or chief executive can use to intimidate his enemies. And we seem to be at that point.
It does also now raise the question of what Donald Trump will do in 2026 if he loses the House or the Senate, and the groundwork that he might be laying to claim that that was rigged now as well. But we will leave that for another day.
All this outrage, and for what? Just because key documents are finally being declassified? And when it comes to whistleblower claims, those are mainly regarded as allegations. So why the full-blown meltdown? What would actually turn us into a banana republic is refusing to hold people accountable. Over the past few months, it's become clear that there are serious questions about how some acted during the whole Russiagate saga. That alone warrants a real investigation. And if, after a fair process, wrongdoing is proven, consequences should follow. Otherwise, what's stopping this from happening again? Simply put, without accountability, the system becomes a joke. Going back to Maria's segment, she wrapped up by laying down just how damaging the entire Russiagate fiasco was. And she made some valid points.
This had so much impact. This ripped our country apart. What about the fact that it put a sitting president on defense? Every time he went anywhere, he had to say, I did not collude. What about the fact that it put his administration in jeopardy because so many people weren't sure if he did something wrong and they didn't want to join the administration? What about the rest of the world who looked at this and said, wow, did Donald Trump cheat and gain the election through collusion with Russia? I mean, there were so many elements that this made-up story from the Hillary Clinton campaign generated.
Well, it put an entire cloud over this entire country. And that's just not right, Maria. That's not the way it works. And thank goodness all of this is finally coming out. But imagine someone so desperate for power, so politically motivated that in this case he, or certainly a she, but in this case he, Adam Schiff, would actually twist and contort the truth and come up with lies and tell us he had evidence that we were going to be amazed by if he's finally allowed to bring it to light. Well, he didn't bring it to light because there was nothing.
That's what it all boils down to. There have been 5 separate investigations into Russia's role in the 2016 election, and not one of them could prove Trump colluded with them. In other words, years of headlines, millions of taxpayer money, and endless political theater, all leading nowhere. Now think about what could have been done with all that time, energy, and funding. The opportunity cost is gigantic. Actual issues that impact people's lives were pushed aside while one side chased a narrative that never landed. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, keep thinking.